It started with a message from behind bars, a few lines that were supposed to honor a fallen brother. Lil Durk's jail post about King Von sounded like love, loyalty, and pain. But before fans could even finish celebrating his words, King Von's mother broke her silence and turned the whole story upside down. Her response wasn't emotional, it was explosive. "You lied to my son," she said. And with that single sentence, she reopened one of the deepest wounds in Chicago's rap history. For years, fans believed Durk and Von were more than collaborators. They were brothers. They rose from the same blocks, shared the same hunger, and carried the same scars. But according to Von's mother, everything wasn't as real as it looked. She says her son felt used, misled, and left behind when the cameras stopped rolling. That behind the loyalty anthems and brotherhood image, there were promises that never came true. Her claims have left fans questioning everything. Was OTF built on real love, or was Von just another name sacrificed to fame? Now the conversation isn't about music. It's about trust, betrayal, and the cost of loyalty in the rap game. Because when a grieving mother says the man her son called brother wasn't truthful, the entire story changes. Von's legacy was built on authenticity. But this new chapter paints a darker picture, one that forces fans to ask what really happened before it was too late. Maybe Durk's message was sincere. Maybe it was guilt. Either way, Von's mother just made one thing clear. The truth can't stay buried forever. The world hadn't heard from Lil Durk in months. Ever since his name resurfaced in new legal troubles, fans waited for a sign, a single message that would tell them what was next for OTF. What was next for the legacy of King Von. Then it finally came. A handwritten note from jail, posted online through his team. The words were simple but powerful. "I still carry Von's name every day. His energy never left me." For millions of fans, it sounded like love, a brother remembering his fallen friend. But for one person, those words hit differently. King Von's mother read that message not with pride, but with pain. Because to her, it wasn't a tribute, it was a lie. Within hours, she broke her silence, something she had avoided for years. She went live, emotional but composed, and dropped a statement that no one saw coming. "Durk lied to my son. He made promises he never kept. My baby trusted him, and that trust was broken." The internet erupted. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, every platform was flooded with reactions. Fans didn't know who to believe. Some defended Durk, saying he'd always held Von down. Others stood by Von's mother, reminding everyone that she was there from the start, long before the fame, long before the label deals, long before the world even knew who King Von was. Because while fans saw the flashy chains and studio sessions, Von's mom saw something else, the tension that started building between Durk and her son near the end. According to her, Von had started to distance himself quietly. She said he felt like things were changing, that fame was twisting real love into something fake. That family was starting to look more like business. And in the streets, that's a dangerous shift. Because in the rap world, loyalty isn't just a word, it's survival. Once you start questioning the people closest to you, it's only a matter of time before something breaks. Von's mother says that's exactly what happened. She claims that before his death, Von told her he didn't feel right about how things were going. That there were deals being made, moves being played, and conversations happening behind his back. He wasn't paranoid, he was hurt. He just wanted honesty, she said. He wanted love to mean what it used to mean. But after his passing, the silence was louder than any truth. Von's mom says Durk disappeared. No calls, no visits, no support. Just distance. Fans who once saw Durk and Von as unbreakable brothers now started connecting dots. Old interviews, cryptic lyrics, even subtle social media posts. Everything was being re-examined. Had there been signs all along? Was the friendship already falling apart before Von died? Even people close to the situation started whispering. Some said Von wanted to start his own label. Others said he was planning to branch out musically, become his own boss instead of standing in anyone's shadow. If that's true, it might explain why tensions started growing. Because when business mixes with brotherhood, the lines get blurry fast. But for Von's mother, this isn't about fame or labels. It's about truth. She says her son died believing he was loved, but the people he trusted most didn't honor that love once he was gone. That's why Lil Durk's jail message hit her like a knife. It wasn't the words themselves, it was what she felt behind them. To her, it sounded like a man trying to clean an image, not clear his conscience. And in her eyes, you can't rewrite history with a few sentences. Von's mother says she's kept quiet out of respect, out of pain. But now, she feels the world needs to know what really happened behind closed doors. "My son gave his loyalty," she said, "but loyalty wasn't given back." Those words have changed the entire conversation. Because this isn't a fan theory anymore, it's a mother's testimony. And in a world where everyone claims to know the truth, her voice might be the one that finally exposes it. The story of King Von and Lil Durk has always been told like a brotherhood built on loyalty and love. But now, as new details emerge and emotions rise, one question remains. Was it really brotherhood? Or betrayal, disguised as family? Because once a mother starts speaking, the truth never stays silent for long. After Von's mother spoke, the silence from Lil Durk's side grew even louder. No statement, no response, just quiet. But in today's world, silence speaks volumes. Fans started to wonder if he was avoiding the truth or protecting himself from it. Inside the industry, whispers began spreading. People close to both Von and Durk hinted that their relationship had already started to fall apart long before tragedy struck. One producer even said in a now-deleted post, they were brothers, but business changed everything. That line hit hard. Because for years, the image of Durk and Von was sold as loyalty in its purest form to young kings rising from the dirt together. But now, the idea that money, fame, and power could have pulled them apart made fans rethink everything. Old clips resurfaced moments fans had missed the first time. In one interview, Von laughed awkwardly when someone mentioned loyalty. In another, he looked uncomfortable when Durk's name came up. Maybe it was nothing. Or maybe those tiny reactions were warning signs of something deeper, something they both kept hidden from the cameras. According to sources close to OTF, Von had started working on independent projects. He wanted creative control, his own label, his own direction. He was ready to grow beyond just being Lil Durk's artist. But in this industry, breaking free isn't always easy. Especially when there's money, contracts, and egos on the line. That's when tension started. Some insiders say there were heated arguments over business. Von wanted freedom. Durk wanted unity. Two strong personalities, both built for leadership, suddenly found themselves on opposite sides of the same dream. Still, publicly, everything looked perfect. Durk shouted Von out in interviews, wore his chains, dropped songs in his memory. But to Von's family, those gestures felt hollow. His mother even said he had time for videos and tributes, but not one call to check on Von's kids. That statement broke the internet. Because now it wasn't just about loyalty, it was about responsibility. Fans began digging through lyrics and old footage. They noticed Durk mentioning Von in nearly every project, but some said it felt more like marketing than mourning. If you loved him, one fan wrote, why do his kids have to remind you he existed? At the same time, Durk's camp pushed back silently. Friends of the rapper hinted that Durk had done more behind the scenes than people knew, helping Von's family financially, protecting his name in court, and keeping his music alive. But even if that's true, it wasn't enough to silence the growing storm, because perception is everything. And right now, the perception was that Von's mother had exposed cracks in a story fans thought was perfect. Industry bloggers jumped in, making things worse. YouTubers, podcast hosts, and gossip pages turned the story into daily headlines. Durk Lee to Von. OTF loyalty questioned. King Von's mom speaks truth. Each post added fuel to the fire. Meanwhile, fans of both sides began clashing online, Durk supporters defending him fiercely, while Von's fans demanded answers. The OTF brand, once seen as a symbol of unity and street brotherhood, now looked divided. Even some artists close to the circle went silent, afraid to pick a side. But while social media argued, Von's mother stayed calm, and that calmness made her message even stronger. She didn't yell. She didn't threaten. She just kept repeating, "My son trusted people who didn't protect him. He believed in loyalty that wasn't real." Every word cut deeper than the last, because this wasn't about clout or fame. It was about a mother who lost her child and felt the world moved on too quickly. In her eyes, everyone benefited from her son's name except the ones who shared his blood. She said, "They used his pain, his story, his death, but not one of them came to sit at his grave." Those words stopped the internet cold for the first time. Fans weren't sure what side to take. Some began questioning the entire foundation of art. Others said grief can twist perception, that maybe Von's mother was seeing pain through anger. But whether she was right or wrong didn't matter anymore. The damage was already done, because in the rap game, reputation is power. And once people start doubting your loyalty, it's almost impossible to rebuild it. Lil Durk's silence might have been a strategy. Or maybe it was guilt. Or maybe deep down, he just didn't know what to say to a mother who lost everything. Whatever the reason, one thing became clear. The brotherhood that once inspired millions was now cracking under the weight of truth, pain, and history. And in the shadows of Chicago's streets, where loyalty means life or death, those cracks don't stay hidden forever. Because if Von's mother is right, if her words hold even a piece of truth, then the story of Lil Durk and King Von isn't about unity anymore. It's about the moment loyalty died, before everything fell apart. King Von was moving different. Those closest to him said his focus had changed. He was tired of the same street politics, tired of fake loyalty, tired of being misunderstood. Von was planning something bigger. He wanted independence. He wanted peace. And most of all, he wanted control over his own story. But control is dangerous in this game. Because once you start speaking your mind, once you start stepping out of the system built around you, people notice. Power shifts. Money moves. And not everyone likes change in his final weeks. Von started spending more time with a smaller circle, friends he grew up with, people who weren't tied to the industry. He stopped sharing everything with everyone. Some took it as arrogance, but those close to him knew it was protection. According to one of his old friends, Von said something just days before he died that now sounds haunting. "Everybody say they love you until you stop doing what they want." That one sentence tells the whole story. Behind the cameras, things were falling apart quietly. The OTF circle wasn't as tight as it used to be. People were choosing sides, some staying loyal to Durk, others feeling Von's frustration. It wasn't open war, but the energy had shifted. Even in music, you could feel it. Von's last few tracks carried a sharper tone, more emotion, more independence. He wasn't just rapping, he was confessing. Fans thought it was just passion, but now, those lyrics sound like warnings. Like a man trying to leave clues in his songs. And then came that fateful night. The night that would change everything. The streets were quiet, but tense. Von had just dropped Welcome to a Block, his biggest project yet. The album was a success, and the celebration was supposed to be pure love. But under the surface, something felt off. Too many unfamiliar faces, too many whispers, too much attention from the wrong people. He looked happy in videos that night, smiling, dancing, showing love. But those who were there said something about his energy felt different. It was like he knew something was coming. That's the thing about the streets. You can feel danger before you see it, and when it finally came, it was fast, shots, screams, confusion, chaos, in seconds. King Von's name turned from trending for music to trending for tragedy. The internet exploded again. Videos, theories, questions, conspiracies. Everyone wanted to know the same thing. How did this happen? And more importantly, why did it happen the way it did? Lil Durk was devastated, at least publicly. He changed his profile picture to Von's face, made posts, dropped songs honoring him. But to Von's family, the pain didn't end there. Because even as the world mourned, his mother said something wasn't sitting right. "My son didn't deserve that ending," she said. And he didn't get the love he was promised. Behind the heartbreak, there was bitterness. She believed people around her son could have protected him if his loyalty was used against him. The fans started looking deeper, connecting Durk's jail cases, business deals, and the timeline of events. Some started suggesting that Von's independence might have been the real reason he wasn't safe. Others called it coincidence. But one thing was clear: Von's death didn't just take a life, it split an entire legacy. In the months that followed, the industry moved on fast, as it always does. New albums dropped, new beefs started, new headlines replaced the old ones. But for Von's mother, time froze. Her son was gone, and all she had left were memories and questions that nobody wanted to answer. Every time Durk mentioned Von in a song, it cut her deeper. Because to her, the music wasn't healing, it was haunting. She once said, "Every time I hear his name in those lyrics, I wonder, do they really miss him, or are they just using him?" That's the raw pain behind this story. Because in the rap game, when a life is lost, business doesn't stop. Streams go up. Sales go up. Interviews go viral. But the families, the real ones who feel the loss, they don't heal. Von's mother isn't asking for fame, money, or attention. She's asking for honesty, the same honesty her son wanted before his death. She's asking the world to stop romanticizing pain and start facing what really happened behind the scenes, and whether you believe her or not. Her voice has reignited a truth many fans forgot in the music industry. Loyalty is often just another lyric. King Von lived by the code. But in the end, it seems like the code didn't live by him after King Von's death. Lil Durk's world changed, but not in the way most people expected. At first, fans saw pain. They saw grief. Durk wasn't speaking much, but when he did, his voice carried sadness, sometimes guilt. In interviews, he'd pause when Von's name came up. He'd stare off for a second before answering. To many, that silence said more than words ever could. But as months passed, things started to feel different. Durk was still shouting out Von's name, still posting pictures, still performing tributes. But the tone shifted. It wasn't brotherhood anymore. It was branding. Every album, every feature, every headline somehow tied back to Von. Fans began to notice. Some said Durk was keeping Von's legacy alive. Others said he was keeping his own career alive, using Von's name to stay relevant, to keep his image tied to tragedy and loyalty. That division split the fanbase in half. Then came the message from jail, the one that reignited the fire. It was supposed to be emotional, heartfelt. But when Von's mother responded with, "You lied to my son," it shattered everything Durk had built since Von's passing. The internet didn't hold back. Clips, edits, reactions, millions of fans started replaying every moment between the two rappers, hunting for signs of betrayal. Some said the way Durk looked at Vaughn in interviews was off. Others claimed his lyrics had hidden meanings, confessions buried in bars. Durk's team tried to stay quiet, hoping the storm would fade. But in today's world, silence doesn't calm the noise, it amplifies it. Soon, hip-hop blogs started pushing the story harder. Did Durk fail Vaughn? Was their brotherhood real? Vaughn's mom breaks silence. The truth behind OTEF. The headlines were everywhere. And for the first time, Lil Durk wasn't being seen as the hero of loyalty. He was being questioned as the face of betrayal. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Durk was fighting battles no one saw. Legal issues, label pressure, street politics. He was surrounded, but somehow still alone. Every move he made was dissected, every post analyzed, every lyric turned into evidence. He tried to show loyalty through action, dropping new songs with Vaughn's name, dedicating shows, even visiting the block they came from. But for Vaughn's mother, that wasn't enough. "He's doing it for the world, not for my son," she said. "If you really loved him, you would have shown it privately, not just publicly." That statement hit deep, because it exposed something real, the difference between love that's felt and love that's performed. Love that's felt and love that's performed. And that's where this whole story hurts most. Because maybe Durk did love Vaughn. Maybe he still does. But once fame gets involved, real love gets blurry. The music industry doesn't care about loyalty. It cares about what sells. And the truth is, pain sells better than anything else. Every tribute track, every emotional post, every teary-eyed moment on stage, it all became content. Whether intentional or not, Vaughn's name turned into part of Durk's brand. But that's the curse of success in hip-hop. The more famous you get, the less people believe your emotions are real. Still, Durk never spoke directly about Vaughn's mother. No disses, no responses, no explanations. Just silence. And maybe that silence was respect, or maybe it was guilt. Fans were split again. Half believed Durk was quietly protecting Vaughn's legacy. The other half believed he was avoiding the truth because he had something to hide. The tension reached a breaking point when Durk previewed an unreleased song on Instagram Live. The lyrics went, "If I could talk to Vaughn again, I'd tell him we both failed me in life. Him in trust." The clip went viral instantly. Was it an apology, a confession, or just music? No one knew. But one thing was certain, the world still wasn't done talking about King Von and Lil Durk, because their story wasn't just about two rappers. It was about brotherhood, pain, power, and the line between love and loyalty. Von's mother still stands by her words. Durk still stands by his silence. And fans still stand divided, trying to decide who's really telling the truth. Maybe both are right. Maybe both are wrong. But one thing remains unshaken. King Von's name will never fade, because, in the end, the truth doesn't die with the artist. It lives on in the music. And in the hearts of those who refuse to forget. Time has passed, but the pain hasn't faded. The names King Von and Lil Durk still echo through hip-hop like ghosts, reminders of loyalty, loss, and the thin line between love and betrayal. Von's mother continues to speak. Not for clout, not for headlines, but for truth. Every time she talks, her voice carries the weight of 1,000 unspoken stories, stories the industry will never tell. To her, this isn't about who's right or wrong. It's about who's real. She's not fighting against Lil Durk. She's fighting against silence. The kind that buries memories instead of healing them. Because when the music stops and the lights fade, what's left isn't fame, it's legacy. And that's something no record label or chart position can fake. Lil Durk, on the other hand, has stayed in motion, dropping new projects, doing interviews, still carrying Von's name in his lyrics. Some fans see it as loyalty. Others see it as guilt. But one thing's clear. No matter how far Durk goes, King Von's shadow follows him everywhere. It's a connection that can't be broken. Even if the truth between them remains unclear, there's a clip that still circulates online. A young Von smiling, saying, "Me and bro, we locked in forever." When fans watch that now, they don't see just two rappers. They see a friendship that defined an era, and a tragedy that defined a generation. Because the story of King Von and Lil Durk isn't just about fame or music. It's about trust, ambition, and how the streets never let you truly escape your past. It's about how fast love can turn into loss when money and power get involved. And maybe that's why this story still hits so hard. Because deep down, every fan knows, in hip-hop, loyalty is the most expensive thing you can lose. On social media, the debate continues. Some call Von's mother bitter. Others call her brave. But whether you agree with her or not, you can't deny her courage. She's standing alone against an entire system, speaking for a son who can't defend himself anymore. That's not hate, that's heartbreak. And maybe, just maybe, Lil Durk feels that too. Because no matter what anyone says, you can hear it in his voice. That pain, that silence. That space where words can't fix what's been broken. Von's death didn't just take a life. It took a friendship, a family, and a piece of Chicago's soul. It left questions that may never be answered, and a truth that may never be spoken out loud. But here's what can't be denied. King Von changed the game. He brought storytelling back to the streets. Real stories, real emotion, real pain. And even though his journey ended too soon, his music still talks. Every verse, every beat, every video, it all still speaks louder than any rumor or headline ever could. At RapShock, we don't just chase viral stories, we dig into what those stories mean. Because behind every post, every reaction, every tweet, there's a real human story beating underneath the chaos. A story about loyalty, about loss, about how fame can twist everything it touches. And that's what this story of King Von and Lil Durk really is, a reflection of the world we live in. A world where pain becomes entertainment, and truth gets lost in noise. But through it all, one thing still stands tall. King Von's legacy. His energy. His voice, no matter what anyone says, no one can erase that. Not time, not rumors, not silence. Maybe someday, Durk will speak his truth fully. Maybe someday, Von's mother will find peace. But until that day comes, the story stays alive, carried by fans, by music, and by every person who refuses to forget where it all started. Because this isn't the end of the King Von story. It's just the truth the world wasn't ready to face. And here on RapShock, we'll keep telling those truths, the ones the industry hides, the ones fans feel, and the ones legends like Von leave behind because stories fade. But legacy, real legacy, never dies. If you felt the weight of this story, don't let it end here. King Von's legacy, the truths his mother revealed, and the unanswered questions about Lil Durk. These are the stories that shape hip-hop. The stories the industry often tries to hide. At RapShock, we dig deeper, uncover the real narratives behind the music, and bring you face-to-face with the emotions, struggles, and truths that define your favorite artists. So, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join the conversation. Share your thoughts in the comments. Tell us what you think really happened behind the scenes, and how loyalty and betrayal shaped Von's story. Don't miss a single RapShock drop, because the streets talk, legends never die, and the truth is always louder than the headlines. Always louder than the headlines.